You get up here, and this is where you really start to see the roof. I guess the roof was leaking for 10 years. You really start to see where that's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not electrical either. These are all candle nipples.
Oh my gosh.
So it's for candles. I like it here, and there's no sense in me taking it out. I think, whoever lives here, if they want to stick candles in there and burn, I think it's kind of cool. Actually, maybe we should take this out because I don't know if you want renters having burning candles next to walls. I don't know. Anyways, up here, like I said, you really start to see where the 10 years of leaking roof has just demolished the walls. And I mean, it's not just drywall. The studs on the other side of this, I can poke my finger through them, which is the bathroom on the other side of this. But as far as, replacing a little bit of drywall and texture, that's why we're going with the textures, because it's going to hide a lot of the imperfections. So let me show you some of the texture work we're going to do. It's called freehand texture. It's not sprayed on, it's actually put on with mud knives. And it's just a random texture. It hides a lot of imperfections. It saves a lot of money. I mean, your other option is to cover everything with 1/4 inch drywall.
Yeah.
Which this house would take 10 days at least.
Yeah.
So, and $2,500 in material and everything. So, saving a lot of money going through this way. So this is Rafael. He's our mutter, master mutter, drywaller, painter. But he's going through right now, scraping anything that's loose, because if you don't get rid of that, as soon as you add paint to it, the moisture gets behind it and it bubbles. And he knows just by looking at it what needs to go and what needs to stay. So he's going to go through and knock off anything that's loose before he does his hand texturing or matching the texture on the ceiling. He'll fill it with a little bit of material so you don't see gaps. And then he'll do his texture work. See these walls right here? This is from houses sitting with, probably had moisture in the basement, standing water in the basement, and it sat through winters with no heat. And it just destroys the paint, which this is why we decided to go with a hand texture, because there was no other option than to cover this, cover it with drywall or do hand texture. So.
How hard is it to find someone like Rafael?
Well, I've been doing this for 11 years, and I found him 2 years ago, and he's the only person I've ever found that can do what he does. So it's he's a diamond in the rough, so for sure. So obviously all the light fixtures will be changed, the fans will be out of here. Let's see, just another room that's all cracked and crackly. Sometimes a lot of this comes from also sometimes they paint the walls a long time ago with an oil-based paint, and then when you start putting a latex paint over it, it just doesn't adhere, it doesn't hold. You can see that like on some of this trim, the paint will just flake off like this. Yeah. That's because this paint right here used to be pure white.
It did?
Yeah, it's oil-based, it was pure white, but over the years it just darkens and darkens because it's got oil over it. And then people try to put latex paint over it, and it just never sticks right.
Yeah.
So we'll strip that as much as we can anyways, and we'll give it a little sand to rough it up a little bit and paint it. We'll paint it with a hybrid paint. It's an alkyd, and it sticks to oil-based paints. So, and it's really hard drying paint. It's a good paint. Once again, evidence of roof leak, which has destroyed this room.
But there's a new roof now.
There's a new roof now, yeah. And I always love these old closets right here that have the stairways to nowhere.
Why did they do that?
The staircase is underneath this.
Oh.
So, there was already going to be a slope right here. And so they do this so you can use it to put your shoes or something. If there was a slope right here, it's unusable space. This was actually a fancy house when they built, So they do a little extra work so you can use the storage space. So I mean, you can tell this was a nice house when it was built. I don't even know what was this in the 40s.
It had to be. Why not?
20s.
30s or 40s is my guess, but I mean the lead windows, the medallions on the ceilings, this was, and the neighboring houses were all the same, they're nice big houses, so this was a nice area. It's still not bad. I mean. This ceiling, this bedroom, this is actually hanging about 3 inches below the studs, and we tried lifting it, and I don't feel safe about lifting it back up to the joists and putting screws in it. So we are ripping this whole ceiling out and re-drywalling it, just because I think one day this is going to come back down, and I'd hate to see it land on some kid's head or something like that. Heavy on plaster. And this, I mean, all the bedrooms in this house are fairly big, they're good sized rooms. And I think this is,
How big is this room? About?
I'm saying 12 by 15. I can give you a measurement if you want, but that's my guess, and I'm guessing you is usually.
From years of doing floors.
Yeah, I got you on right. So, another thing, this is keeping all the windows up here. You know, these old houses, you just can't keep these windows.
Oh, I can see it right over here.
Oh yeah, it's bad. We went up in the attic actually and took a look at it to see if we could put boards in between the joists even and raise this up and get screws into it. But with it being plaster, every time you screw through it, it just breaks apart and disintegrates, and so it's just not safe. We're just gonna redo it. Unfortunately, we'll lose the medallion, but it is what it is. You know, we might take a minute to try to save that, but if it's, we're not going to spend much time on it. So, one thing also is when we're having the ductwork all run in the house, we may possibly have to open up walls on the main floor to run ductwork all the way up to the second floor, which actually more than possibly, we probably are going to have to do that. But we're in the beginning stages of the house, so it's a good time to open up the walls for that kind of stuff. In lovely shape. Once again, all the damage from years of roof leaks. I mean, these are the actual supports of the house. You know, so we'll actually, what comes out, we'll take out anything that's not coming out. I'll sister, which means, you know, joining two boards together next to it. I'll re-support everything. I generally don't like having two light fixtures in here because it's just more light bulbs for people to have to buy. So I'll eliminate both of these. I'll put one single fixture in the center and we'll have one light bar across the top. We got lucky in this bathroom. The majority of the tile here is actually in really good shape, super solid. We'll reglaze it. We'll keep as much. We're keeping 3 out of the four walls.
There's good toilet paper too.
Yeah. During the shortage, maybe. I think we're good again. So we're keeping the bathtub. We're going to strip it, reglaze it. It's a good solid tub. Things are 350 pounds. We're not moving it, and they're a pain in the ass to break up. So we'll just make it look good again, and we're keeping it. I'm taking this archway out. It allows better ventilation for showers. The problem with this archway is it traps all your hot air up top and the paint starts to peel because of it. So, you know, we're just going to open the thing up. It'll allow the steam to run through the whole bathroom. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to put a vent in here. You know, I guess that's up to the homeowner. I'll talk to him. If I do put a vent in here, unfortunately, it has to vent into the attic.
What about the floor?
It's solid. I'm keeping it and I'm going over it with vinyl, just gluing vinyl to it. So there's no sense in ripping this out. It's got 2 inches of cement board. It's got lath. It'd take a day ripping this out and people complaining all day trying to do it. So I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit and put vinyl over it and it'll be good. Obviously I'll cut this old boiler line out of here.
Oh, that's a boiler.
Well, it's, you know, there was a boiler. That's why this isn't painted. There was a little boiler or a radiator that sat right here.
Oh.
For heating it up. So, onward. This room right here is where most of the leaking is coming from. The back of the room, obviously. And this is stuff when you walk in. Okay, yeah, you see damage here, But a lot of people don't think to, I mean, it's already destroyed. Open up the wall, kick a hole in the wall and look at the studs and stuff. It's easy. This all has to be replaced anyway, so if you go looking at a house, kick a hole in the wall, find a stud. There's a stud. Poke a screwdriver in it. If it does that, you got problems. And this is a lot of stuff that people don't see when they go looking at a house. I can walk into a house and just tell by what the wall looks like on the outside. I can tell what it's going to be like on the inside.
How many houses do you think you've renovated?
170 something. So a few. I'm still learning.
We always are. Everybody is.
Well, this house, I saw something in this house I've never seen before, and that's in the basement. You know, so now we have to pour 6 yards of concrete. Obviously, we've got cove, and it would be kind of a pain in the butt. We'll see what happens. We might try to save the cove, but
What
it's
is cove?
so it's
The
just this
curve?
rounded, the rounded walls. But if you look in the whole room's not coved. It's only just one wall that's coved.
Yeah.
So we may just cut that out. I don't know. I'm completely decided. We may cut that cove out because I have to rip this ceiling out from one end to the other. And it's just easier without a cove when you reinstall it.
What about the outside, anything?
I haven't had to do much on the outside. We cleaned up the garage. It's getting a couple garage doors. Fortunately, the homeowner took care of the roof and the yard cleanup, most of the yard cleanup. There were trees and stuff that got cut down. I didn't mess with any of that. So that's pretty good on this one. The outside of the house is pretty sturdy on this. It's all brick. And that really needs to be done. We'll have a little bit of trim work to do on the garage. And I'm hoping actually he has a guy coming to wrap his soffits. The hardwood in this room is shot, it's swollen up. What we'll do is we'll just cut out the swollen up pieces, we'll fill it in with plywood, and then we'll carpet this room just to cover the floor up. This is unsavable. All new doors everywhere. There were a couple doors in here, but for the price of slab doors, they're $32 a door or something like that. There's no sense in keeping garbage doors or doors with dents or anything like that to try to fix them. We just get rid of them all. We put all brand new doors, new hardware. And I think we're about done.
The floor?
Oh yeah, all the floor, all the savable floor is going to be sand and finish. A lot of people like carpet in bedrooms, but when you rent houses, every time you turn a tenant, you either have to pay to clean all the carpets, and most pieces you have to change all the carpets. So we like to clean carpet on the floors, and if the tenants want carpet, they can buy rugs and put them down.
That makes sense.
Yep. My experience is, out of the 170 houses I've done in Detroit, I've seen maybe 13 people that actually own vacuum cleaners. So carpet, I mean, when you can get away with hardwood floors, it's just better.
Yeah. How was this house when you first started working in it?
This bedroom alone was full of clothes up to my belly button. We took 4 40-yard dumpsters of trash out of this house. It was like hoarder. It was bad. It was just full everywhere. So we spent, a week cleaning it before demo.
Yeah.
We've only had 3 days of actual work on this house so far, but it's come along. We're going to save every bit of trim that we can because you just can't replace this stuff. It's beautiful. It's actually a 2-piece trim. It's nice. It's got a nice thick reveal. And if we rip this off and just go buy standard door and window trim to put down here, this just doesn't look good. It's generic. This is nice. So we're going to keep as much of this as we can.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.